let's talk about the pros and cons of using this film to kind of set up A New Hope. And I mean, this movie is I mean, it's pretty much figuratively the first two paragraphs of the opening crawl.
Yeah.
I mean, they did exactly what happens there. Joshua, what do you think about using this film as a setup to A New Hope?
I thought it was cool to get like the backstory of the opening crawl and show sort of like really what they were talking about. And it's a lot more like fractured that you would have thought of that they like. We know that there's plans. Sorry, now I have to spin off of what I was just saying because it's first of all funny that they sort of do the retroactive, like they retconned the Death Star weakness.
Yeah.
Because people would always say, like, oh, why would they build the Death Star when knowing one little shoot
Yeah.
into an exhaust port 2 meters wide could blow it up? But it turns out it wasn't on purpose. It was all built into it. I thought that was sort of a funny scene where he's like, Galen's explaining that. So to get that and to get that like this mission of just these people who really came together at the last second to do something right, in defiance of the actual rebellion, I thought that was crazy. So to get like the backstory to the backstory was crazy. But as far as I don't feel like they like this Rogue One effectively like docked with a New Hope seamlessly. And I say that because now all the conversations at the start of New Hope, I went back and watched it, don't make perfect sense anymore. Because when Vader boards the ship, he has this. He
looks very annoyed.
Rebels and Princess Leia sort of throw up this front to where they're like, "Oh, we're just on a diplomatic mission. We're not doing anything wrong here." And Vader's like, "No, I know you. Some transmissions were beamed aboard this vessel, and you're all lying." So the thing is, that doesn't hold up. If he just saw them with his own eyes, he was literally standing in space in the docking port watching them escape. They escaped a large-scale battle. Like, that's crazy. And it does say that in the opening crawl, so they just won their first major victory as of the Emperor against the Empire.
Now we know what that victory is.
But it doesn't quite fit to why they would be putting up this farce, like trying to
Except for stalling, you know.
I guess so, but and now it changed. I guess it kind of works, but it changes the tone of it. Of like Darth Vader, like seeing through them. It's like them being like, "Of course we didn't just steal these plans." Like, "Yes, you did. I just saw you." So it changes the context of it. It doesn't work perfectly for me. Ask these two. Like this has been
the big conversation.
I've been like obsessed about it. I'm trying to like make it work.
Darth Vader was totally the dad catching his kid doing something wrong, and Leia's like, "No, we didn't do anything there. Get the hands off." We're totally fine.
I agree with you. Like, it doesn't fit seamlessly because it does take a little work on our part, the viewer, to make it fit. But yeah, it doesn't bother me. Like, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, they're, she was always stalling, but now it's even more kind of a like, this is ridiculous. But it's okay for me because I will say that most of the movie, I was very pleasantly surprised how much it did work as a prequel to A New Hope. And yeah, it's kind of that fine line, right? When you're it can't help but be almost cutesy when you're doing that many like direct setups. But I thought they worked. Like, I loved that Galen set up like the way that Luke blows up the Death Star, just because it does kind of answer one joking fan complaint for many years, but also it helps give that more weight because it helps the Rogue One. Like, now when you watch Luke blow up the Death Star, it's like, oh, because of Galen Erso and his daughter. Like, it helps, add to what they did and what they accomplished as characters. And we were talking about with these characters, and that doesn't mean you still think that they're great, exciting characters.
It gives them historical importance.
It gives them importance. Yeah, it gives them, like, in the mythos, what they did, kind of carries on.
These are the future heroes of the rebellion.
Right. Like, and you get the idea that there's, somewhere there's like a plaque with their names on it.
Well, it's the CIA wall with the stars and no names. And
I actually would have worked, now I think about it, that the bridge between the two movies would have worked a little better if Vader didn't see that ship leave, but then we would have gotten that awesome like Vader scene. Right. But if he didn't see it leave, then he wouldn't have known which ship to go after, and then we kind of assume sometime after this battle, he's just tracking down, trying to find out where it went, and he tracks down this ship.
Yeah.
And then he finds the ship, and he's like, well, this must be it, and he doesn't quite know, right? But then he figures it out. I think then it would be okay, but the way that it's not. But then
this
again,
really keeps Joshua up.
And what we
I can't sleep because of this. But I'll just stop complaining and I'll be grateful for the Vader scene.
and what we learned from the director recently is that it is a very short amount of time. I
Yeah.
mean, we got that confirmed that this
It's
takes
like
place.
minutes.
Yeah, this is within minutes to an hour between the ending of Rogue One and the beginning of A New Hope. So
Right.
that makes sense.